What's up, YouTube? I want to do another video in the series of basically I live in California, my gun choices suck. Want to bring one in that maybe you guys haven't really thought about or hadn't hit your radar. Something different. This one here is a Henry lever action. This one's actually in 41 Magnum, which is kind of an oddball. If you're a reloader, you may be a fan of the 41 Magnum. But basically, I just wanted to bring this video to just kind of put this on your radar as far as a defensive carbine. Here in California, like I said, this obviously isn't have any evil features per California. It's lever action, so at that point, it doesn't matter if the tube holds more than 10 rounds or whatever. You can't do anything really to make it an assault weapon. And like I said, this may be kind of an odd choice or whatever to you, but basically these guns have been around for a long time, you know. The Golden Boy, I think, was like 1866 or something like that, was the first you know, real lever action setup or whatever. So they've been around, you know, like I said, they've withstood the test of time. It's kind of how the West was won, I guess you'd say. Cool rifles. They're really reliable. They're nice because they're all self-contained. You know, there is no magazine as far as external magazine. They're all tubular fed magazines. And there's a lot of manufacturers that make them now. Rossi being kind of on the inexpensive end of them, up to Winchester's being made again, I believe by FN. They're being manufactured in Japan now, and they're pretty pricey. Last one I seen was pushing almost $1,200 for a new example of a Winchester. These Henrys are nice. They make a ton of different calibers. Marlin also makes a quality setup, and they make a bunch of different variants. They make like a guide gun, which is, you know, like 16-inch barrel. They make them all the way up to like 45-70 or 444 Marlin, you know, real big bore calibers. And then they also make them down to 22s. You know, Henry has their little Golden Boy 22. But as far as like a home defense setup, you know, this would be actually a decent setup because you can get these in like 357, which will shoot 38s as well. And, you know, 357 coming out of a 16-inch barrel is moving, you know, because you're getting the rifle length to burn that powder up. And that bullet is moving. It's no joke. It's got a lot of stopping power coming out of a rifle barrel. You know, it's even quite a bit more so than a handgun, obviously, with the extended length. And you could also shoot 38s on them to plink with or whatever. And they hold. Don't quote me on this because I didn't look up the specs. Some of them vary just depending on barrel length. But I think upwards of about 10 rounds. A 357 and most lever actions depend on barrel length. Like I said, 16 to 20 inch will obviously hold more, a little more. You can get them in 44 Magnum, another great stopping round. They're nice because they're fast. You know, cycling. So when, you know, when you fire around, you know, you don't even have to pull away from your shoulder. You can still stay on target. Bang. You know, racket, bang, racket, bang. Obviously, they're not as fast as semi-auto. That's a given. You have to cycle the action every time with the lever. But they make for a nice self-contained gun. Like I said, if you're going to use it for like a home defense gun to kind of set by the bed or whatever that you're going to use it for, or fortunately here in California we can't really do the truck gun thing like you can out of state. But if it's basically going to be a gun, something like that, like a truck gun or a home defense gun, it's nice because basically you load it up and you set it by the bed and everything's there. When you pick it up, you know, you got ammo in your tubular magazine. It's ready to go. You know, cock it or whatever. Pull the safety off if it's got one. A lot of these just have like half cocks. Some of the like 90s production Winchesters have a little cross bolt safety in them. But I mean, they're just kind of nice because they're all self-contained. You know, everything's there. Marlin makes some like tactical editions or whatever you want to call them that have rails on them, so you can mount a light on them if you wanted to. Mount an optic, even like a red dot. I've seen them set up with red dots. So they are a feasible option out there. I mean, like I said, they might not have the cool factor you're looking for or something like that. But as far as, you know, our choice being so limited here in the state now, I just wanted to bring this to you guys just to show you, just to put it on your radar if nothing else. If you know, just some kind of food for thought, just to think about if you're looking at another gun purchase, or if you're thinking about something maybe for home defense or camping or backpacking, something like that. There's tons of variants of these models out there by, you know, a bunch of different manufacturers. And like I said, they start at like 16-inch barrel and they go out. You know, I've seen some, I think I want to say like 22-inch, like octagon heavy barrels and stuff like that. And they go from 22 caliber, you know, up to like 444 Marlin, you know, 45-70. Some big heavy hitting calibers. You know, they basically take any kind of game here in North America. So I just wanted to put it out there, guys. This is on loan from like I said, my FFL buddy was kind enough to let me borrow this so I could bring it to you guys, just to show you, kind of give you a first-hand view of it. It's easier to show you guys one than just try to explain it. But basically how these Henrys work, they run off like a tubular magazine that you feed from the front. So, you know, you basically verify the chamber just like a normal gun. Basically, once you open the action, you can see in there, see if there's no brass, there's no ammunition in it. The Henrys load, like I said, from this tubular magazine. So what these do, these basically pull out, and if you ever shot like a Marlin Model 60 or something like that, like a little 22, you basically drop the rounds in there, and then the spring is inside this brass tube here, and it basically pushes down, compresses when you load it, put it in there, give it a little like eighth of a turn, it locks in, and then the tube's loaded. A lot of the other variants load from like a side door here. Basically the same principle. The tube magazine is just almost like, if you think of it like a shotgun. They basically go here, the door, and you push it in, you just keep pushing until it won't take anymore. And like I said, some of them are fairly high round counts, and like the 357s, because the shells are fairly small. And if you run a 20-inch barrel on them, like I said, I'm just guessing, you can look specs up for whatever gun you might be interested in, but it's somewhere around 10 rounds. So you have 10 rounds on tap in a self-contained, you know, rifle setup to go with you, you know, wherever. You just basically grab it. If it's loaded, you're ready to go. You know, rack the action, whatever you got to do. But it's there. They're really reliable. Most of the actions are pretty robust. Triggers on most of them are fair that I've had or I've shot. I had one older Winchester years ago. Sights are definitely usable. I remember shooting mine out to, you know, 7,500 yards, hitting cans and stuff with it. Way back when I had a 30-30, and I want to say it held like 5 rounds of 30-30. But that's a full house rifle round. I mean, 30-30's got the knockdown power of about 7.62 by 39, give or take just a little bit, but it's pretty close to that kind of power range. And like I said, I just wanted to show you guys, you know, do some research, different brands, different options, add cost, whatever. Some are higher end, some are lower end, whatever. But there's a variance that probably starts about, if I had to guess, they start somewhere in the neighborhood of $600 new, and go up probably to that Winchester mark, you know, on a production gun, probably about $1,200. So there's kind of a big variance there of different brands, different calibers. Like I said, ton of calibers. You might be able to find your favorite, you know, pistol caliber. Like I said, 38, 357, 44 mag. This one's 41 mag. Then you get into some rifle rounds, big rifle rounds and stuff. So anyways, guys, just wanted to put it out there so you could just kind of touch on the subject for you if you've never thought about it. Just food for thought, I guess you'd say, on this one. So anyways, like I said, thanks again for my buddy for letting me use this to kind of give you guys a tabletop on. And thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't, please subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.